Bold topic choice, but I'm not going to be showing anything graphic, obviously, especially because this is YouTube and most of you are probably not old enough to see that. But essentially, Angelica is a former Hypixel Bed Wars YouTuber who's completely transitioned to being an OnlyFans model. I just think this is a really interesting story that deserves some much more nuanced coverage than what it's gotten. Looking at you, Kyle Hate. So my girlfriend Chafoy actually knew her since they were both like 11. So to make sure I get all of the nuance right, I'm going to do this video in the form of a conversation with her.
The Animal Jam community is where I feel like Angelica really got her start on the internet. She was really charismatic, really talented at making videos. And then like, she showed her face and people really thought she was pretty. Like, again, we were all 11, 12, so it wasn't that deep. And because of that, she started getting a lot of attention from both people her age and people older than her. And what that does to you when you're like 11, 12, the way that that shapes you moving forward in life, I think that her story is a really good example of that.
How does that compare to, you got a similar amount of that, and you didn't have the same response to it? Why do you think that was?
I think for one, I didn't show my face, so I attracted attention from older people who would prey on the kids in a kids community, but not nearly to the same extent that she did. I think a really big part of it too was just that I grew up religious. Like, we had morals instilled in us by the religion that I don't think is necessarily like always a great thing, that stopped us from considering the path that other people our age, like Angelica, might have. I remember back in the Animal Jam community that like we were all 12, we didn't really understand the significance of this. So a few people would like call Angelica's mom like super mom in an endearing way. I don't know if she actually was engaged in sex work or not. I have no clue. It was just something people said.
From Animal Jam, eventually she moved on to becoming a Hypixel Bed Wars YouTuber.
I mean, who didn't, to be honest? From what I hear from my friends who like kept in touch with her after Animal Jam, it was a lot of the same, getting attention from people her age in the community. And Animal Jam was mostly women. In the Minecraft community, you're getting more attention from men. Again, like people far, far above the age that any of us were.
I was looking at some of her older tweets and I found it really interesting, like how she was like really well connected. Like there were replies from like Original Ace and Meltdown when she turned 18, and I think several other people too. Those are just the ones I remember. She had a lot of friends and she was like very much one of the Bed Wars YouTubers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, she's genuinely a really, really talented person. Being a woman in a male-dominated environment makes you stand out in a bad way and in a good way, but like that was an example of one of the good ways. Like you gain a lot of connections, I guess, really fast. And a lot of those, like I remember just because I was like around part of that friend group, like a lot of that wasn't just connections. It was genuine friendships from people who just got along together.
Why do you think it doesn't happen to all women, even if they're not religious? Like think about like Pokemon. Like she's never considered starting an OnlyFans.
I think that definitely the push towards online sex work as a form of entrepreneurship for women is really strong, but it's not like the be all end all. I'm no longer super affected by my religion, and it's not something that I'm considering for just other reasons.
After that like time as a Bed Wars YouTuber where she made a lot of interesting videos, that I'm thinking of the one where she made a lolly cover of Old Town Road, which was really odd.
That's the kind of thing where like if you look at the timestamp on that, like I'm pretty sure that she was like 15 or 16 when she made that.
I believe it was like literally the day she turned 18 she started her own OnlyFans. That's what I heard from like other people. I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with someone who's old enough to start an OnlyFans starting an OnlyFans if she had kept them more separate. But if you go on her Twitter right now, like her Minecraft Twitter, they link to each other.
It links to the NSFW Twitter, which then links to the OnlyFans.
I don't think that's any better. Well, the NSFW Twitter itself is...
Yeah, fair. Yeah, she does have like the link to it in her actual proper bio as well now.
Yeah, and it's not like, I mean, OnlyFans needs ID. I think her Twitter at least is accessible.
Yeah, it is pretty directly accessible. I also think that it's not helping her at all to have it linked at this point, because her Twitter, the NSFW Twitter has like literally 7 times the follower count.
If you're like 16 and you haven't figured out that linking to NSFW content is bad, then that's on you. Yeah, like I said in the call, I think it's like whatever if she wants to have an OnlyFans. I mean, you do you. All she really has to do is just take that link out, and then there's not really anything wrong with it. One more thing I'd like to mention is that she did, for most of the time as she was a Bed Wars YouTuber, go under a different name, but that doesn't change the fact that they're still linked to each other, and I just think inherently that is something you shouldn't do.